Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today as always. Before we begin, hit that like button and subscribe. We have a video coming out every day on YouTube. I missed a few videos on Instagram because I've been so busy. But we have a video coming out almost every day on Instagram and every day on YouTube. So today's topic is going to be, are men and women the same? It seems to me today, actually I had someone comment on a comment I made on an incel page. I don't know anything about incels. That was the first YouTube video I ever watched about them. It was the debate between an incel and women and different people. So I made a comment on there about something about men and women are not the same. Now that doesn't mean that men and women are not equal in the eyes of God or humanity or whatever you want to call it, but we're just not the same. But I've had this discussion before with several different men and, well, a couple anyway, on the internet. And they always tell me that, well, women can do everything men can do if they just have enough time to do it. It may take them longer. Well, I don't think so. And I don't think I can have a baby no matter how long I try. So should I feel like I'm less than because I can't have a baby? I think not. Women can do many things I can't do, okay? Women would not be here today were it not for men. And guess what? Men wouldn't be here today were it not for women. We each have a role to play in the divine order. Excuse me, if you like. But sometimes I think some of these younger people are watching too much TV where they show these women going out and they have this career and they're making, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars and they're taking care of the kids and the husband and they got this perfect life. Well, guess what? TV, movies, none of that is reality, because if it were, it may be too boring to watch. So the reality is, there may be a woman or two out there that can do that, but in general, most women can't do that. And in general, most men don't stay home and take care of the kids and the family. Although there are some men that take care of the kids and allow their woman to go off and fight in a war. I don't understand that. But if women keep pushing for these, I don't want to say equal rights, because I do believe women deserve equal rights. Okay, if they go and work a construction job and they put out the same amount of work as a man does, they should get paid the same. And if they put out the same amount of production or work or more, if they put out more, they should get paid more than the man. I have no problem with that. But it's obvious to me that on a lot of jobs, in one of my companies, for example, the painting company, you don't see too many women because few of them can carry a 40-foot ladder. Few of them can climb a 40-foot ladder all day long. I mean, by 2:30 when I'm doing that, I'm getting pretty tired. So it's just, they're not physically designed for that. No more than I'm physically designed to have a baby or to nurture young children as well as a woman is. I've raised these 6 kids by myself, and one of them was 2 years old, the youngest, and the other was about 3 or 4. Okay, the others were older. But for me to sit here and tell you, oh yeah, my nurturing ability was just as good as any woman's, it's ridiculous. It's not. I'm a man. I think differently. I don't have that capability within me. For example, when kids get in a fight and they come running up here, my first response is, okay, what'd you do to get yourself in that mess? Accountability. I tell them to take accountability. As where a woman might pick them up, or more than likely would pick them up, give them a hug and say, oh, it's okay, honey. It'll be all right. Give them a big hug and a kiss. See, that's just not what men do. I'm not saying men can't do that, but it's a natural response for a woman. Their innate ability to do that is different from a man. Men and women are not the same. They will never be the same. And why would we want to be the same? Then we have no polarity of femininity and masculinity, which is what keeps a relationship together. If you have a woman who's too much in her masculine And a man who's in his masculine, it doesn't work. It doesn't work well. For every up, there's a down. For every in, there's an out. It has to be balanced out. And I was reading here about during World War II, women started working in the workforce. Okay, you know why they started working? So the men could be free to fight. For centuries, men have given their lives freely and willingly to protect the women and the children. And it's almost like that's all downplayed now. We would not live in this great country of the United States today, free as we are, free to make videos like I make, and free to make some people get on here and really badmouth the United States and the government and all that. And we, of course, don't have a perfect government. There never has been a perfect government. But I've traveled the world to many different places, and I'm telling you what, when I fly back into the U.S., there's a feeling of relief, cleanliness, and safety that you don't get in some third world countries where they have to have the doors barred at night. They have steel doors. You would have to have a tank or a cutting torch to get into that house. The windows are barred. It's dangerous. The police are corrupt. It's like living in the Wild West. And then many people here, and most of the younger people, complain about how terrible the police force is. It's like any other organization. You have some bad policemen, but the majority of them are good. They want to help people. That's why they took that job. A policeman's job is to serve the public. If you had to deal with what they have to deal with every day, you may change your mind about thinking that they're terrible. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've run into some cops that were dicks, right? Okay. But when you deal with people that are breaking the law all the time, it's kind of hard not to become a dick. I actually had a cop here in town one time ask me to be a policeman. I said, I could not bust somebody for doing something. Got to take the timer off my timer. When I was meditating this morning, it went off during the video. So as I was saying, I could not bust somebody for doing something I had done myself. And he said, well, you only have to be a jerk when they're being a jerk to you. But I passed up the opportunity to be a policeman, although they are very valuable. I can sit here in my house. We don't even lock our doors during the day. And I have crackheads and drug addicts walk by here from a neighborhood down the street. They don't bother me, okay? I have no problem with those people. If they want to party and do their drugs, I don't care. That's between them and their higher power. But you know, it's safe here because we have the police. I can call the police, they'll come here. I had a lady next door the other night who was kind of having a hard time and kind of going crazy, really. And she did threaten to burn my house down. Most of my neighbors aren't like that. The neighbors like that usually live quite a ways away, but they do walk by here occasionally. So I called them and they took her away. I did not have to deal with that myself, although I could have, but it might have turned into more of a mess. But with them, they got her out of the house. It took them an hour and a half to get her out. They cuffed her up, took her to a psych ward. Now she's back and she's okay. All right, she's got some mental problems. All right, nobody's perfect. We have to realize that we're all here and we're all at whatever level we're at, and we're all progressing and growing. And if you walk a mile in someone's shoes, you've heard that old saying, right? You maybe not be so judgmental of them. Who knows what this lady had to go through when she was growing up? Maybe her parents, if she had any, called her stupid, hit her, and told her she was dumb, or told her she was I don't know if I can say the word, told them she was a hoe, or whatever. Sometimes I'm not sure what I can say. A lot of guys cuss a lot here on YouTube, but I try to keep it clean as possible. Although I have did a lot of cussing in my life, so I'm not a saint, that's for sure. But we have to think about this. When we see people or we judge them for how they are or what they dress like or how they look or whatever it happens to be, you have no idea how that person has lived their life or what they've had to go through, excuse me, to get to where they are today. But that's getting off the topic of men and women being equal. Back to that topic. I read this thing I got it on Google. It says, how did women's role change during World War II? As the men fought abroad, the men, as usual, the men give their lives. Let's give the men and the veterans some credit for what they have done. That's why we have the freedom in the country we have today. That's where I started out before I got off on that rabbit trail about walking in people's shoes. It's because of the men that we have the great country we have today, that we're safe and we're protected. And we don't have to have bars on our windows. We don't have to lock ourselves in like we're in a damn safe or a safe room. We don't have to do that because of the men have built this society, have protected this society, and I guarantee you if we ever got invaded, you'd be dang glad, if you're a woman, you'd be glad that there's men there to protect you, as they would, and they would give their lives. Women need to know their place, and men need to know their place. My place is this: if we get invaded or something happens, or even if it's a home invasion, I'm the man of the house. It's up to me to deal with that, to get up out of bed and go down there and put my life in the way of whoever it is busting in between them and my family and my kids. And I do that willingly. That is the job and role of a man, if it comes to that. The woman is here to protect, to nurture, and to raise those children. Oh, I know that's not what I've even been called a misogynist. I love women. I love my mom. I love my wives when I was married. They decided they wanted to go out and party and actually act like men, I suppose. Drink and carry on and sleep with a bunch of different guys. And they didn't want to have the married, secure, stable life that so many people tell us, or so many women say that's what they want. It's kind of boring for them. It can be. So I won't get off on that subject, but we each have our places to play here. Now, are there women that are almost like men, or are extremely strong, or maybe even stronger than men and mentally tougher? Sure there are. There's always exceptions to the rule. But I'm talking about in general here. In general, men are physically and emotionally stronger. They're able to do more physically, and they're able to stand more emotionally. They're emotionally tougher also. As I've said before, I've raised these 6 kids here by myself for the last 9 years. I have a couple businesses. I don't get any financial aid for what I do. I do it by myself. Now, is that a tough deal? Yes, it's physically demanding. As I get up in the morning at 6 o'clock, I'm busy all day sometimes, and I stop about 9 or 10. Okay, I do that 6 to 7 days a week. Sometimes on Saturday, I am exhausted. I may lay around for 4 or 5 hours after I get up in the morning before I recuperate from that. And sometimes it seems very overwhelming. Now, there may be 1 or 2 women out there that can do that. I'm not sure. But more than likely, because women are more emotional, they couldn't deal with it. And I'm going to tell you something else they couldn't deal with either. I have teenage boys. One of them is 21. He's a little smaller than me. The 19-year-old, he's smaller than me. But the 18-year-old is bigger than I am. He's got 30 pounds on me. All right, all 3 of those boys have got up in my face and thought that was the day they were going to run the household. Well, I won't go into detail about what happened there, but they realized that that wasn't the day. That wasn't the day that they were going to walk over Dad, okay? They're still here. We all get along great. But if that were a woman, what was she going to do? She can do nothing. My 14-year-old daughter has told me she sees 5 or 6 times she's seen where these young boys, 15 years old, they talk to their mother, they cuss her, they call her a whore, they talk badly to her, and the mother can't do anything. There's no father around. A woman cannot do that. I can handle the girls, I have a daughter, and I can handle the boys, all right? So that's what I'm talking about. It's just, does that make me better than a woman? No, it doesn't make me better. It makes me different. That's all. Now, have I been able to nurture my children as a mother could? No, I can't. Does that make me less than a woman? No, it doesn't. We just have different roles to play. You can't, well, I won't say you can't learn something that's an innate ability. You can learn it, but you're still not going to be as good at it as a woman. Like, I can learn how to nurture, I could study that, but if it doesn't come from within you, from your heart, or from natural ability, it's just not the same. As I said before, when my kids come up here with a problem, I have picked him up, and just said, oh, it'd be okay, but it's just hard for me to do. So it probably doesn't help them as much as when the mother does it, and it really is a normal, natural thing for her to do it. I have to force myself to do it. It's a mechanical action. It's not really a loving thing from the heart. Because as a man, I want them to take accountability and responsibility for what's happening. Okay, so their brother's beating them up, and none of them ever gets beat up, but pushing them around or whatever it is the boys do. And they're crying. Okay, my first question is, what did you do? I didn't do anything. Well, that's not the truth. I know how that works. I had a brother, he used to pick on me and beat me. He never beat me up, but he'd get me down on the ground and slap my face and stuff like that, okay? We kind of had an unwritten rule that we didn't punch each other, so we never did. And I don't think these boys have ever punched each other either, but they wrestle around for fun and sometimes when they're angry with each other. But my first response is to get them to take accountability. And that's one of the traits of being a man, is being accountable, having integrity. What did you do? How did you bring this about? As opposed to a woman, a lot of times they don't worry about the accountability. They just want to comfort the child, and it's okay, honey, don't worry about it. And then they may even go down and get on the other older boy for picking on the younger boy. But for me, I don't think that way, because it's a big thing for me to teach them responsibility. And that's why when you have a man and a woman in the household, the mother and the father, husband and wife, or however you want to say it, then it balances out. You have the feminine and the masculine, and the kids need both. Now see, that's something I have not been able to provide for them. I have no problem admitting that I can't do that as well as a woman. So when we get back to this sameness or equality, sure, men and women are equal in the eyes of humanity, or we all should be treated with equal respect. But we shouldn't be treated, or how would I say, we shouldn't be compensated, or for example, if we're in a job, for work that we cannot do. I mean, if there's a woman that could do a job better than me, should I go there and expect to be paid the same because I'm a man and I'm doing the same job, but yet she's producing 5 times what I'm producing? No, I wouldn't expect that. Then why should a woman expect equal pay for less than equal labor? I believe in equal opportunity, but I don't understand equal outcome. That's up to the individual, the person. That reminds me somewhat of socialism. But that's really all I have time for today. I hope this has been of value to you. This is just something I felt like I needed to speak about because I see so much of it in the youth today, thinking that men and women are the same. As I said, I believe men and women are equal and should be treated equally. But we're not the same. Never going to be the same. Thank God for that. I love women just how they are. Anyway, I got to go to work. Have a great day, and thanks for joining me.